It was the most expensive warship ever built, moving without hurry, without need for fanfare. The USS Gerald R. Nuclear-powered, bristling with technology no rival could match. In late 2023, as war flared between Israel and Hamas, it slipped into the eastern Mediterranean with quiet purpose. No shots fired, no headlines announcing its arrival. Yet across the region, its presence was felt. Radar screens lit up, war rooms recalculated, plans changed. Because this ship doesn't need to strike to make an impact. Its size, its reach, its very shadow on the water is enough to alter the course of events. A new era of carriers. For many years, the Nimitz-class aircraft carriers were unmatched on the seas. They carried entire air wings, sailed to every corner of the world, and stood as visible proof of American power. But even the most capable ships faced the limits of their time. Technology moves forward, and the nature of warfare changes. The Navy needed something that could not only keep up with the future, but shape it. The answer was the Gerald R. Ford class. This was not a simple improvement on what came before, it was a complete redesign of what an aircraft carrier could be. Planned in the early 2000s and revealed to the public in 2007, it represented more than a decade of innovation. Every choice in its design aimed at one goal: to stay relevant and dominant for the next 50 years. The Ford class replaced the legendary USS Enterprise, closing the chapter on one of the most iconic ships in U.S. history. But it did so with a promise to go further: faster operations, stronger defenses, and the ability to adapt to weapons and systems that might not yet exist. By reducing crew numbers through automation, improving the flight deck for more efficient launches, and designing with future upgrades in mind, the Ford set a new standard for naval power. It was built not only to answer the challenges of today, but to meet threats the world has not yet seen. In doing so, it marked the beginning of a new era for carrier warfare. Engineering the Colossus. The Gerald R. Ford is a giant in every sense, but it is not simply large for the sake of size. Every meter of its structure was designed with a clear purpose. From its bow to its stern, the ship measures over 335 meters, longer than 3 football fields placed end to end. Standing 76 meters high, it towers over the sea, yet moves with surprising smoothness for something that weighs around 100,000 tons. At its heart are 2 Bechtel A-1B nuclear reactors, power plants so advanced they can produce 700 megawatts of energy. This is more than triple the power output of the previous Nimitz-class reactors. That energy doesn't just propel the ship, it runs everything on board, from radar systems to advanced weapons, and leaves room for future technologies that haven't yet reached the fleet. One of the most striking design changes is the smaller, repositioned island. Moving it further aft opens up more usable space on the flight deck, allowing smoother aircraft operations and quicker turnaround times. The hull has been reshaped to improve stability in rough seas and to reduce its radar signature, making the ship harder to detect. Inside, advanced automation systems replace many of the manual processes used on older carriers. This reduces the required crew by hundreds, cutting operating costs while freeing up space for mission-critical equipment. Everything about the Ford reflects a forward-thinking approach, building a warship that doesn't just meet current demands, but anticipates the needs of tomorrow. It is a platform designed to evolve, to accept upgrades easily, and to keep its edge for decades. In both size and capability, it stands as a carefully engineered balance of raw power, efficiency, and adaptability. Air wing of the future. The Gerald R. Ford is more than a ship. It is a moving airbase. Its deck can host a mix of aircraft that cover almost every role in modern warfare. Sleek F-35C Lightning II-2s bring stealth and speed, slipping past enemy defenses before they know they are there. FA-18 Super Hornets handle the heavy work of strikes and patrols, while EA-18G Growlers jam enemy radar and blind their systems. Helicopters like the MH-60R hunt submarines, guard the fleet, and move supplies. Unmanned drones can take off for long reconnaissance flights or deliver precision strikes without risking a pilot. Together, they form a flexible force that can shift from defending the carrier to striking targets hundreds of miles away. Every aircraft is supported by crews trained to work in fast, demanding conditions. Launches and recoveries happen in a rhythm that keeps the air wing ready at all times. It's a system built to respond instantly, whether the mission calls for rescue, defense, or an offensive strike deep into enemy territory. Defenses that see first. The Ford is not only an attack platform, it is a fortress at sea. Its defenses are layered, designed to spot and destroy threats long before they get close. High-powered radar scans the skies and waters in all directions, tracking aircraft, missiles, and drones with pinpoint accuracy. If something dangerous approaches, the ship has multiple ways to respond. The close-in weapon system unleashes a storm of high-speed rounds, shredding incoming targets in seconds. Laser weapons can burn through drones or small boats silently and instantly. Missile launchers stand ready to intercept anything faster or farther away. These systems work together, feeding information and adjusting in real time. It's not about waiting for an attack. It's about removing the danger before it has a chance to strike. Every move is calculated, every response timed to the second. On the Ford, safety comes from seeing first and acting faster than anyone else on the water. The launch revolution. Getting aircraft into the sky quickly can decide the outcome of a battle. On the Ford, this job is transformed by the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, known as EMALS. Instead of using steam to hurl jets forward, it uses controlled bursts of electrical power. This system is smoother on the aircraft, allowing for more launches with less wear and tear. It can also handle a wider range of planes, from heavy fighters to lighter drones, without changing equipment. The result is faster cycles and more planes in the air when they are needed most. In high-pressure situations, EMALS can launch aircraft in quick succession, keeping the air wing active even under constant threat. It's not just an upgrade, it's a shift in how carrier air operations work, giving the Ford a rhythm of speed and precision unmatched by older ships. The strike group's shield. Gerald R. Ford never sails alone. Around it moves a ring of warships, each with its role in keeping the carrier safe and the mission secure. The USS Normandy, a guided missile cruiser, reaches far with its long-range weapons, striking enemy targets before they can threaten the group. Close by, the USS Ramage watches the skies. Its advanced radar can track missiles or aircraft from miles away, giving the fleet precious seconds to respond. If a threat comes fast, Ramage can fire interceptors to destroy it mid-air. The USS McFall specializes in hunting submarines. It can slip close to shore or deep into contested waters, using sonar to find and track hidden enemies. Then there's the USS Thomas Hudner, carrying the newest radar and cyber defense systems. It guards not just against physical attacks, but also electronic ones. Together, these ships form a living shield around the Ford, ready for whatever comes from sea, sky, or under the waves. Power as a message. Sometimes strength is measured without a single shot being fired. When the Ford moves into a region, it changes the atmosphere before its aircraft even take off. In October 2023, during the conflict between Israel and Hamas, the carrier sailed into the eastern Mediterranean. It didn't launch missiles or drop bombs, but its presence was enough to make enemies hesitate. Nearby, warships and jets kept watch. Patrols. In those tense days, hostile forces stayed quiet, their movements cautious. Commanders on the other side understood what the Ford could do if provoked. This is deterrence in its purest form, the ability to shape events by being there. The carrier becomes more than a military asset. It becomes a signal. To allies, it says help is close. To adversaries, it warns that any move forward could trigger consequences they cannot control. Shadow missions and silent influence. Not all of Ford's work is visible. Beneath its public role as a carrier, it serves as a hub for intelligence gathering and electronic warfare. Its sensors can pick up distant communications, track enemy movements, and feed real-time data to Allied forces. In some missions, it disrupts threats before they even begin. Drone swarms can be jammed mid-flight. Hidden submarines can be traced and shadowed until they are forced to retreat. Cyber teams on board can defend the fleet's systems while probing for weaknesses in an opponent's network. These actions rarely make headlines, but they are often what keep larger battles from starting. The Ford can fight openly if it must, yet its quiet operations, the ones no one sees, can change the course of a conflict just as surely as any missile strike. Gerald R. Ford's greatest power is not in the number of missiles it carries or the speed of its fighters. Its true strength lies in the uncertainty it creates. When it appears on the horizon, no one knows if it has come to strike, to defend, or simply to watch. That uncertainty forces others to think twice, to delay decisions, to question their next move. In many cases, that pause is enough to prevent a war from starting. The Ford was built to win battles, but it may be even more valuable for the wars it never has to fight.